What's up, everybody? It's good to see you today on the Speak and See Show. I ask that you like and subscribe. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. I'm going to go over the freshest and newest information. We have a lot of information to share with you today, and I'm going to start by saying this. I'd put a video out the other day. It didn't get a lot of views. It didn't get a lot of likes about the illegal immigrants coming into the United States, crossing the border, and them getting $775 per minor. Which added up to like $25,000 a month or something per minor, as well as the adults coming and adding another $600 per day to the deficit of the United States, and it's something that we've got to pay out of our pockets, and also it's something that takes away from one area, which could be an area of whatever, and one of the areas could be the EIDL grants, the PPP loans, and small businesses could be affected by this. With that in there, I'm not doing this loosely. I just want everybody to know I'm not doing this just to throw stones in one certain to the Democrats or at the Republicans. I'm doing this because of the small businesses that are being hurt or affected by this issue. The issue that we're seeing right now is that illegal immigrants are coming in, but they're also applying for PPP and EIDL loans, and they're getting it. They're literally getting this money ahead of the small businesses, the legitimate small businesses like you and I. They're literally getting this money, and that's what I'm mad about. That's what we're taking to the attorneys and saying, look at all of this information. What's wrong with this picture? And I'm going to put you in on this, and here's the latest and greatest about it. I'll let you watch, and I'll chime in as we go.
I call this hearing to order. Without objection, the chair is authorized to declare recess at any time. I also look forward to hearing more about the targeted EIDL program. I now yield to the ranking member for his opening statement.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for calling this important hearing. While I'm glad we'll be having a conversation with Small Business Administrator Guzman, I am deeply disappointed and concerned that Secretary Yellen is not with us today.
Let's grasp what he's saying right now. Is Janet Yellen, the Secretary of Treasury, is supposed to be there by law, supposed to be in this meeting right now. It's like Mnuchin and Carranza and Guzman and Yellen. Without Yellen there, we cannot ask the questions and get the answers that we need. So what is happening with him saying it's by law that Yellen is supposed to be here and she's not is just totally insanity. It's totally, it would be like us not showing up to a court date.
As you spoke, she's required to be here by law, and I won't state the law, but it's supposed to be at least 120 days after enactment of the law. She's supposed to be here at least twice a year. This is not only, this is very troubling. It's a complete violation of the law. I appreciate your comments, Madam Chair, and I'd like to work with you to make sure that the law is followed, and then we schedule a time in the future for Secretary Yellen. To that end, I have a letter here that's been signed by all the members of the Republicans on the committee, as well as a list of events and the schedules of Ms. Yellen over the last 2 months that I'd like to enter to the record. I have a couple of things.
Without objection.
Okay, thank you,
Without objection.
And, you know, the list of activities I have no problem with. I think that she's doing her job, probably doing it well. But there is a couple of events on here that are actually political activities. And again, I don't have a problem with her doing that, except that it shows that she's prioritizing political activities over her job, which is by law supposed to be in front of us. That can't happen. The Paycheck Protection Program was established in a bipartisan manner to be administered by the SBA and the Department of Treasury. With reservation, Secretary Mnuchin testified before this committee last Congress. His testimony was critical as it helped members on both sides of the aisle explore questions from their constituents and assisted members with next steps for the COVID relief programs. It is a clear sign that this administration's Treasury Department, one of the biggest in the federal government, is ignoring America's small businesses. Simply put, if the Treasury Secretary and Biden administration truly cared about the nation's small businesses and their employees, Secretary Yellen will be testifying today. Despite the Treasury Secretary not being with us, we have much to discuss. COVID-19 was devastating to our nation's small businesses, entrepreneurs, and startups. Without precedent, state and local shutdown orders forced small businesses to either operate under restricted capacity numbers or close their doors to the public altogether. Responding to the backbreaking impact on small businesses, Congress and the Trump administration quickly focused on assisting small business workers. According to SBA's Office of Advocacy, small business employees represented approximately half the nation's workforce. Importantly, one program that was front and center for struggling small business was the Paycheck Protection Program, which private sector lenders delivered to small businesses many loans and all the dollars in those loans. PPP offered potentially forgivable loans in the dollars that were used and on payroll and a few other eligible expenses, and millions of small businesses took advantage of the program, and it is now concluding. The next phase of the program will focus strictly on the PPP forgiveness. Beyond PPP, Congress also activated the EIDL program. But unfortunately, this program, which is administered as a direct loan program through SBA, has been riddled with fraud.
Okay, for those of you who do not know a whole lot about Lukemeyer, is every time you hear the word EIDL come out of his mouth, he really doesn't like the EIDL program. He's always talking about EIDL is nothing but a big fraud. So he's not pro-EIDL, to let anybody out there know.
From SBA Inspector General report highlighting $78 billion in fraudulent activity to a report released 3 weeks ago, where the Inspector General found over 800,000 EIDL applications that were flagged for identity theft concerns. It is clear the program is not safeguarding American taxpayer dollars. Any amount of fraud is absolutely unacceptable. However, this level of fraud shows the SBA is not suited to administer any direct lending program.
Hear that? That was what he just said. What he just said there was, hey, EIDL should not be administering any kind of loan program. So he's kind of like saying, get rid of the EIDL, go back to PPP, and let the private lenders give the money out. So he's basically trying to cancel the EIDL program. Not specifically the grants, but the lending program by the government.
On top of the fraud issues, the EIDL program is slow to reach small businesses in time of need. Historically, the SBA turn time to small businesses has always been at a snail's pace. In stark contrast, the PPP, unlike the EIDL program, was set up to capitalize on the efficiencies of private sector lenders, not the SBA. In addition to the turn time, the PPP also protected taxpayer dollars more effectively compared to EIDL due to lenders having responsibility to know their customers and know how to underwrite loans. As we continue to explore the SBA programs, we must look to the private sector to find efficiencies and innovations. The SBA's ability to make direct loans to small businesses must be studied. In addition to making loans, the SBA has also inefficiently operated the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant Program for struggling venues, theaters, and other cultural entities. The night before the program launched, the SBA's Inspector General warned of serious concerns about the oversight controls in place. Then a few hours after the opening the portal, the SBA had to take it offline to troubleshoot. The program eventually relaunched, but has yet to disperse any funds to struggling venues, although this morning, conveniently this morning, they announced that they are going to disperse some money very shortly. Amazing how that works.
Remember last month when the revitalization program kicked off and they were telling restaurants, oh, we've got all this money for you and we're going to get it out to you as soon as possible. And Schumer was out there laughing and dancing with restaurant owners saying, we're giving you money. And then Guzman's holding up packages of food like, oh, I'm here at an Asian restaurant or I'm here at a Mexican restaurant. And they're doing all this political, picturesque for the camera stuff. The same thing that they're talking about Yellen is doing, everything's being politically, drawn and shown. That's not what they're supposed to be doing. Like Schumer, put the EIDL on the floor. And also Guzman, put the EIDL on the floor. Quit showboating out there with your political stunts and get down to business.
While the SBA has been ignoring the venues program, it has been championed by the SBA's restaurant administration's Restaurant Vitalization Fund program. SBS celebrated the priority period, which unfairly picks winners and losers. This administration even highlighted that the program is reaching potentially undocumented individuals and those with an unknown immigration status over hardworking citizens of the United States. And they're even being sued for this discriminatory practice today. Overall, it seems each day brings another complication for the SBA. I know Republican members have many of the same concerns that I do. However, the SBA's track record for answering our questions has been underwhelming and at times non-existent. Thus far, my colleagues and I have sent numerous letters to Administrator Guzman and received limited responses. I would like to insert every letter that has failed to receive a response in today's record. Hearing record, Madam Chair. I'd like to insert some letters.
Without objection.
Okay, guys, I don't know if you caught that, but this is going to be a bonus for you. I'm going to replay what he just said because he said, in response to the questions, your response to our questions have been non-existent. You're talking to Guzman and Yellen and the team, Nydia Velasquez. He's like, you guys, we've been trying to send you letters, but it's been non-existent. We can't get an answer from you. He's like, I'd like to insert these letters that we've sent and haven't gotten a response back. So I'd like to insert these into the record. In which in time, Nydia is supposed to say, we received the records. But watch the response on this. Even the response on this is like, I'm trying to, hello?
Thus far, my colleagues and I have sent numerous letters to Administrator Guzman and received limited responses. I would like to insert every letter that has failed to receive a response in today's record. Hearing record, Madam Chair. I'd like to insert some letters.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm hopeful this conversation will produce results because at the end of the day, small businesses drive our nation's economy. We must provide an environment for small businesses to operate independently as quickly as possible.
Okay, so you know that I edit these videos so that you don't have to go through all the stuff that's really non-related to exactly what we're dealing with here with the PPP and the EIDL. However, there was in the beginning of this hearing, there was another exact moment in time when he's talking about Yellen not showing up to the meetings. He wanted to present Nydia Velasquez with something as well. Nydia clearly is just not listening. Because every time he says, I need to present some records, she is supposed to recognize it and say, okay, we received them. But even earlier, I cut this part out, but I'm going to show that again because it's kind of making sense now that they're shut off. It's like she shut off. Anyway, I'm going to put this in and you just let me know if this, I'm not editing this and this is all real time. I'm not editing like making it longer than what it is or shorter than what it is. This is the time of the conversation that took place. But there was a moment in time I'm looking back, I was like, wow, that happened earlier with Nydia as well. So she's just in her own world. So I'm going to play this as well and check it out.
Events and the schedules of Ms. Yellen over the last 2 months that I'd like to enter to the record. I have a couple of things.
Without objection.
Okay, thank
Without
you,
objection.
And
I don't know, but to me it looked like she was eating something there, like she was eating like a salad or something. And she's, oh, put that down. Oh, yes, okay, I take it. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there, guys, as part of a bonus of what the people that we are contacting and trying to get to move for us on this issue of our EIDL loans and PPPs are the exact people that I'm trying to bring into your lives right now, Nydia Velasquez and Luca Meyer, that we're dealing with. So we need to know our subjects, how to handle them, and right now it just seems that we're caught between a rock and a hard place with Nydia Velasquez. Not sure what she believes or what she thinks. I just know she isn't pushing the EIDL grant to the floor for all American citizens. She's very picky on who she wants to give these grants to, as we can see that. But once again, the lawsuits are coming forth in drones. I will have some fresh information on that shortly. Right now, we're just the lion never roars while it's stalking its prey. So before we go in and push this button, we have to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row. And hopefully this information gives you a little bit more insight of what's going on right now. And I will keep providing you with more and more fresh information on this issue as well. So thanks again for watching, guys. You guys have a blessed day. And I'll let this video finish up with Luca Meyer so that you can continue watching that. Thanks again for watching, guys. Somebody say, hey, I want my 10K.
Unfortunately, this administration is threatening the small business recovery with increased taxes and more regulatory burdens. We cannot allow these changes to occur. The health of our nation will depend on the health of small businesses. And with that, Madam Chair, I yield back. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Luca Meyer. The gentleman yields back. I would like to take a moment to explain how this hearing will proceed.